Tekken 8 and the Tekken team and Harada just can't catch a break, and to be honest with you, it seems like they keep on doing it to themselves. So you guys probably guessed by the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about the controversy that took place at Thaiger Uppercut with the Chinese player basically being disqualified from, as far as I can see, for being from China, from being from a country that is sanctioned from participating. Now there's a couple of things to go over here. Now it does state in the rules that China, along with Russia and I believe Afghanistan, are not allowed to enter Tekken World Tours. What doesn't make sense to me is, if China is not allowed to enter, what were the incompetent tournament organizers doing when XCC entered the tournament? If they knew that XCC was from mainland China and people from mainland China are not allowed to participate, why was it so that he could make it all the way to almost getting into top 8 to disqualifying? First of all, that is messed up. We're going to get to that in a little bit. But what about all the other players? All the other players that went up against this apparently amazing Chinese player who's been playing Tekken for a very long time. There's a clip on Twitter of him, I think at 12 years old, playing Tekken 6. I can't play the clip on here because I think I'll probably get taken out for showing it. But there's a clip of him playing Tekken 6 and them saying that this kid is basically playing at a professional level at his age. The guy's been playing it for a long time, but you shout on all the other players who had to go up against him because he's a very good player and he wasn't meant to be there according to you, and so they all got knocked out of the tournament as well for a player that you were going to disqualify anyway. So not only is it shambolic that you banned this man for being in the tournament, for being from China, it's shambolic on the players who entered the tournament and had to play a player that wasn't even supposed to be there. Now in terms of banning players from Russia, from China or from Afghanistan, I think I understand the reason for why. It's a bogus reason as far as I'm concerned. The politics of a particular country, whether it's China, whether it's Russia, whether it's Afghanistan, Israel, wherever it might be, does not necessarily reflect the individual. And people can have their political leanings. There are loads of people that I have relationships with, or loads of people that have political leanings that do not resonate with me. Some people even say things and I can't even comprehend how they could think that way. But that's just my opinion. I would not ban somebody from coming to a tournament simply because they come from another country. Do you know how fucked up that is? Like, when you really break it down and think about it, unless this guy is a spy or trafficking human beings, or he's done some pedo shit or something really messed up, simply coming from a nation that you have sanctioned, the sanctioning, the reasoning around it is a load of nonsense. It has nothing to do with these Tekken players, what the governments do, where the countries lean. You're acting like this guy is an agent of the CCP, or that he was sent over to Thailand to gather some information on them to report back to China. Like, for what reason would you ban this guy? And not only that, but you put the sanctions in place, but then you don't even enforce them. You wait for him to get to the point of being on stage. Now, as far as I'm concerned, these are not sanctions that go for every single video game, because I've seen Chinese people doing well. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Xiao Hai the really good KOF player, the guy that I'm pretty sure he plays Street Fighter as well? He's won multiple tournaments. Isn't he from China? I mean, the name would kind of give it away, but yeah, he's from China. So I don't understand. This is really, really bad. It's one thing after another with you guys. It is one thing after another. And now, because you've done that, people have review bombed Tekken again. You keep taking your foot and shoving it into your mouth. It's very simple. Unless the guy is a career criminal, unless he was sent over by the government to do something and you found out about it, unless the guy did something in the tournament, of which, if there was reasons for that, which we now know there's not, because Banda Namco have released a statement which I'll read out, then leave the guy alone. Oh, because he's Chinese and he's from mainland China, he can't play with the rest of us. You know what that sounds like? And if you're doing it based on the practices of the nation and the political leanings, you're going to have to start banning a lot of people. Because it might be easy to point the finger at China and Russia now, but if we look historically, there's a lot of people in those tournaments that come from a lot of places that have done a lot of bad things. I live in the UK. Okay, if we look over the UK's history, it's not great. Every country has done bad things. Now, it might be the current talking points, but like, I've got Russian friends. I have Russian friends. I have a very, very good friend called Yulia, who is the sweetest woman you'll ever meet. And what her country does what Vladimir Putin does, what the Russian government does. First of all, pretty sure she doesn't agree with it. Second of all, it has no bearing on her being able to work, on her being able to go places, at least as far as I'm aware. I know some people, when it all kicked off, had a certain like stigma against her, but just simply being from a nation that might not be doing good things in the moment. And I'm not even throwing China or Russia under the bus. It's not about that. This player has nothing to do with that. You know, I've got Chinese friends as well. I'm confused. Would you sanction Chinese players if they were from London and they flew over, or is it simply because they flew from China? Don't you check where the players are from? That calls into question the security of these tournaments as well. If you have sanctioned these countries, then how was he able to compete? That's what I'm confused about. How was he able to compete if these countries are sanctioned? If it's a big enough deal for you to put sanctions on these countries to not allow these players to compete, how did this happen? Now, Harada tweeted out and he said, "I don't know what happened, but I'm currently inquiring." And then he deleted the tweet. Now, Harada, like, you did this earlier. You deleted the other tweet as well. And it's just like, dude, stop tweeting. Okay? You keep on, apology this, redact that. Oh, I read over everything, now I'm taking back my apology. Delete that. You're inquiring, now you want to delete that. Just stop tweeting, bro. Either you are a very indecisive person and you have knee-jerk reactions, which is, you know, I've had knee-jerk reactions as well, but I'm not the face of a gigantic video game franchise. Or your overlords are basically telling you, hey, dude, shut up, stop tweeting. Either way, just stop tweeting. Like, just do an Ed Boon and disappear for a very, very long time. Because if you're not going to remain consistent, like, what's the point in putting up a tweet and saying, I'm inquiring, I'm looking into it, and then just deleting it? What's the point in giving an apology and then just deleting it? As far as I can see, if we go down the route of believing Namco is basically telling you to shut up, then they're always going to tell you to shut up. So just stop tweeting, dude. Now, Bandai Namco said this: "We had to disqualify a player from Tiger Uppercut Master Event who does not reside in an eligible country under Tekken World Tour 2024 regulations. Although we did our best to explain the circumstances to the player and followed the official rules, this led to an unprecedented situation. We understand that this decision has caused disappointment among some members of the community, and we will consider adjusting the official rules for future seasons. Thank you for your understanding." Not only should you adjust the rules for future seasons, reimburse him for his flight, reimburse him for his accommodation, put out a public apology aimed at him and the people of China and anybody else you've done this to, because again, no matter what you think about the country, it has nothing to do with the Tekken players, and most of the time it's not going to have anything to do with the people. Like I said, I've got Chinese friends, okay? I've got Chinese friends on my Instagram, on my Twitter, and in real life. They're not bad people for you to be sanctioning them from going to a tournament, okay? That's fucked up. Now, you've been review bombed again, right? People are even more angry at Tekken now, and it's a shame because apparently Thaiger Uppercut was a very good event. Apparently people were really into it. They had a king winning in the grand finals. Apparently there was a lot of character diversity, but this is just a very, very dark cloud over the whole situation. And I hate to be like doom and gloom, but it's just one thing after another with you guys. So here's a couple of things you can do to stop pissing people off. When you release the next character, be very clear on what is coming with the character and what isn't. When you hold tournaments around the world, drop the sanctions on these selected nations. As far as I'm aware, it's just China, Russia, and Afghanistan, but if there are any others, drop those, unless you're saying that these places are national security threats, and then under that talking point, you'd have to tell us why exactly, and then if you're not going to allow them to come to tournaments and someone does show up at the tournament, make sure you tell them at the front door, hey, you're from place X, you can't come in. Because not only, again, have you fucked over XCC, you also fucked over all the people that he beat. All the people that he might have beaten in losers, all the people he might have beaten in winners. I don't know where he was in the tournament. Apparently he was about to go into top 8. I don't know if that was on winners or losers side. Either way, it doesn't really matter. The point here is that Tekken, right now, when it comes to how the community is feeling and how people are looking at it, it's not good. Okay, I'm not just saying this to get clicks and views. It's not good. It's not a good look. And we spoke about the communication of the Gen Magi stage. This is another communication issue. Yeah, you put in the rules, these places are sanctioned, but you let my man get to top 8. How do you do that? The Tekken World Tour. This is not some tournament run down the road by Bob, Steve, and Harry, and the prize is going to be $20 and maybe a free fish and chips. This is the Tekken World Tour. People they pay big money to fly out to these tournaments. This is incompetence. Now, I don't know if Harada's inquiring about it. Quite honestly, what the hell is Harada going to do? What is Harada going to do? Bandai Namco has already proven that they have way too much power, way too much sway. They can get this man to delete his tweets. Or maybe he's just inquiring to, I don't know, calm people down, I guess. This, in my opinion, is some bullshit. is some bullshit, and it comes across as racist, to be honest with you. That's how it comes across. If Putin comes on TV tomorrow and he says some crazy shit, that ain't got nothing to do with my Russian friends. Nothing whatsoever. If Israel or Gaza or China or I don't know, you want to throw any country in there, Germany, my own countries, the UK, if any of these places came out on TV and started saying, hey, we're about to start doing some crazy shit to people, they ain't got nothing to do with Tekken players. Absolutely nothing whatsoever. And if someone flies in from those countries, unless you're saying this person's a criminal or they are a national security threat or they pose some sort of threat to the tournament, and there's reason for that, you have no reason to ban them. So shame on you, and shame on anyone that was aware that he was in the tournament and you just thought, he's not going to make it anyway, what's the chances, right? Well, now look at the situation you put yourself in. You said unprecedented situation. The reason it was unprecedented is because you didn't think he was going to make it. You didn't think he was going to make it to top 8. I understand the logic as well. Making it into top 8 of a Tekken tournament is no easy feat, especially in this game, this hyper aggressive nonsense that's going on. But you played yourself and now you look even worse. And you know what kills it the most is that Tekken is legitimately a difficult game. They've lowered the execution ceiling, but that's not what I'm talking about. Being consistent in this game with all of the nonsense that goes on in it is incredibly difficult, and to play consistently to the point that you're playing with the best players in the world, because there's good players, there's good players that come to my stream. You know, I'm halfway decent at the game, but playing to the level that these guys are playing at in these tournaments, to run through those people and dedicate yourself to that, to just be told you're being disqualified because you're from this nation that we don't agree with. Do you know how messed up that is? I can't even stress how bad that is, and I do really feel for this Chinese player, and I feel for other Chinese players that might have to deal with this in the future with other games maybe putting sanctions on there. I don't want to jinx it and talk that into existence, but this is some tomfoolery if I've ever seen it. I mean, if that's the way that you're going to go about it, Tekken team or Banda Namco, whoever did this, then don't call it a Tekken World Tour, because China's in the world and so is Russia and so is Afghanistan, so call it Tekken Selective Tour. You know, Tekken we play favorites tour. Tekken we make no sense tour. Try to come up with a good reason for this. Like I said, if you find out they're a criminal, fine. If you find out they touched someone at a tournament, fine. DQ them on the spot. If you find out they did something crazy in the tournament, fine, DQ them. But DQing them because of their nationality, like they are the politicians, you guys fucked up. And you continue to fuck up. And you know what? What can I say? I'm here for it, I guess. We're just going to watch what happens, because it's one thing after another with Tekken. It's one thing after another. I don't want people to take that the wrong way. I mean, I enjoy playing the game, that's why I stream it. But I would be lying, okay? I would be a shill, as people like to say, if I just sat here and pretended like everything was hunky-dory. It's not. It is one thing after another. So, you know, don't have to take my advice, but definitely pull your own heads out of your asses and try to just be normal, okay? Be normal. And Harada, again, if you can't do anything, dude, it's fine, okay? I understand, I've worked for big corporations before. You can't step over their heads, it is what it is. But stop tweeting all the time and then deleting it. That shit is annoying, you're gonna piss people off and they notice. And the reason they notice is because even though you delete stuff, if someone's quote retweeted it, and it's been very, very recent, I can still see the tweet, even though when I click on it, it says it's been deleted. So people can see it, it's still on Twitter. People can see it. Twitter has not gone around to actually removing it from the public eye, even though when you click on it, it says that it's been deleted. So just stop. Just stop. Anyways, that's it. I ain't got anything else to say, man. I hope this gets solved for China, because that really does suck.